My name is Jim Parker. I am the owner of a television production company called Riverview Studios. I'm board chairman for the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen, and I have a few other interests. I run a foundation that provides scholarships for young women. Riverview Studios kind of grew out of Parker and Company, which was my attempt to freelance early on in my career. I started back in college. I worked my way through school as a commercial photographer. And when I graduated, well, while I was in school, actually, I worked for a company that did, back in those days, it was slideshows. And we did slideshows for a lot of big companies. Pan Am, TWA, they don't even exist anymore. Let's see, Breyers Ice Cream, which still does exist, and a number of other big companies, 3M. And so back in those days, I was doing photography, and that's how I worked my way through school. When I graduated from college, I taught school for 2 years, and it just was a natural progression. I enjoyed the video, or at the time it was photography, so much more than the teaching, that after 2 years of teaching, I decided to go full-time. Now, Riverview Studios came about in 1990 when I purchased an old factory building that's on the banks of the Delaware River in Bordentown. We have a pretty exciting workload. I've always felt that this is the best job in the world because I get to work with different clients every day. Today we're working for Tyco International. They took me overseas to Singapore and to the United Kingdom and to other places like Texas, which is all not quite a third world country, but far enough away. And I do a lot of work for the Catholic Diocese of Trenton, other religious organizations, and we also do a lot of nonprofit work. I'll produce programs for organizations that are doing things for the social good, like the Soup Kitchen. Well, I would like to think that I'm a specialist in lighting, and what I like to do is, is to create lighting that really tells a story, lighting that has color and interest and drama, but lighting which allows you to focus on the story, on the subject, because really it is about telling a story. And I think that if you keep your eye on that ball, the fact that you're telling a story, well, the whole point of producing a program is about informing somebody or telling them a story, bringing somebody to a place that they can't go to themselves, taking them there visually and with audio. So I think that's exciting, and I think that trying to bring back images that are interesting and unique and well composed and keep people's interest are what makes it intriguing. It's not what you know as much as who you know. Unfortunately, it's a fact of life. Network. Take internships. Look for opportunities to volunteer. The more that you can get in front of people who have the ability to hire you, to let them see what you can do and let them see that you're interested, the better your chances of getting hired to do something. I can't overemphasize the importance of making yourself available and letting people, see what you can do. Experiment, do projects and learn different techniques, but then volunteer at a place where you can apply those techniques. That would be the best advice that I could give. I really like the art of it. I enjoy doing good lighting and good visuals. Most of all, I enjoy the response. I mean, I really do get off on people appreciating what I do. And when I can put together a program for the Soup Kitchen, it brings a tear to somebody's eyes and makes them open up their wallet. It makes me feel good. When I can tell a story for a corporate client and they come back again and again for more, that makes me feel really good. So it's very satisfying to have this kind of power, over people when you can show them this story and you can weave this tale, and they respond to it. That's amazing, and that's really a powerful feeling to witness the response to your work. You are creating impressions. You're creating feelings. You're in some action films you get the adrenaline going. Well, if in what I do, we're not so much trying to get the adrenaline going, is most of the time we're trying to get people to understand something new or to learn something new or to maybe look at things in a different way. You know, I take 2 young women in Uganda who were impoverished, and we tell the story of how they can change their lives, how people can help them to change their lives, and a tremendous amount of good that could come out of that. That really makes, as a filmmaker, makes me feel very good. And so I really enjoy the ability to tell those stories, but when I do it really well and when I get a response from people and they say they, you know, they like it, most importantly when they open up their wallet, you know, that's it. It makes you feel really good. Wow, the greatest project. God, there's so many. There's a few. The very first one I did back in 1972 was a slideshow, almost a video. Didn't have video back in those days. It was a slideshow for United Cerebral Palsy. They showed it to a women's group, and at the end of that showing, the message was positive. Let me explain this. This is important because when you do something about a subject that is moving and you want people to respond, if you're negative, it turns people off. So I've always believed that telling a positive story. So what I did is I had these poor little children that were afflicted with cerebral palsy. They were bent and twisted and they couldn't move, and they were typing with a pencil in a headband and had a hard time talking. But the stories that they told, I asked them, I said, what do you like most about being in school? And they told me they loved being with their friends, they liked to learn. They told me all of the things that they enjoyed. And when I finished telling that story 5 minutes later, people opened up their hearts and they just gave all kinds of support to that school. And that's when I realized how powerful a message it could be and how powerful a positive message could be. If I'd said, look at these poor children, they can't do anything, they're all blah, blah, you know, everybody would have said, oh, look at those poor children, well, what can we do? There's nothing that anybody can do. But when you look at those children and you saw the smiles on their faces and you saw them with their typing with a headband but smiling and happy, oh my God, it was incredible. If anything sums up a good project, that was and this was how many years ago? Whew. Wow, 70, 80, 90, holy cow, a long time ago. And nowadays I get to travel around the world doing stuff. They called me and asked me to go to Singapore to shoot a documentary and bring back and show it to everybody in the organization so that they could learn what they're doing in Singapore. Very cool. A little different, not quite as emotionally compelling, but so cool. But no, I love what I do. It's very cool. Yeah, I get to meet new people every day. I've met so many people. We met a homeless man on the streets of New Brunswick, and one of my crew was so moved by his story that he took him a sleeping bag and a pillow. He went back to New Brunswick and took him a sleeping bag and a pillow. The man was sleeping under a bridge. And I've seen so many things. It really makes you appreciate who you are. It really makes you appreciate how fortunate you are when you can participate in and communicate with other people and participate in their lives.